Unlocking the power of emotional intelligence. Welcome to today's video. This one is going to be transformative. We're going to delve into something that, if you take it seriously, has the power to change every relationship in your life, whether it's with a partner, your friends, your colleagues, or even with yourself. That thing is emotional intelligence, often abbreviated as EI. It's a skill that, once mastered, can lead to stronger, more meaningful connections with others. But here's the thing. Emotional intelligence isn't just about being nice or understanding your feelings. It's so much more. It's about becoming aware of the emotions that drive you, the ability to regulate them, and the skills to connect with others in a way that fosters respect, trust, and understanding. And when it comes to building relationships that last, whether personal or professional, this skill is absolutely critical. Now, I'm not just going to give you some theory today. I'm going to walk you through the real, practical ways you can improve your emotional intelligence, and I'm going to share some personal experiences of how I learned these skills. You see, I've been in situations where my lack of emotional awareness led to poor decisions and even the loss of valuable relationships. It wasn't until I decided to actively work on my emotional intelligence that I began to see real changes in my life, and it's those tools I want to pass along to you today. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what emotional intelligence is, why it's so important, and how you can cultivate it in your own life. But before we dive into the methods and tools, I need you to commit to staying with me through the whole video, because I'm going to give you the #1 secret to transforming your emotional intelligence. And trust me, you'll want to hear it. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, at its core, is the ability to identify, understand, and manage your own emotions while also being aware of and influencing the emotions of others. Sounds simple, right? Well, it's not. EI is a skill that takes time to develop, but it's an absolutely necessary one for building strong, trusting relationships. Now let's break it down into 5 key components. These components are the pillars upon which your emotional intelligence will stand. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It's the ability to recognize your own emotions and how they impact your thoughts and behaviors. This means understanding why you feel the way you do, whether it's because of external factors or internal triggers. This was something I struggled with for years. I would get upset over minor things, but I couldn't quite pinpoint why. I wasn't aware of my own emotions, and because of that, I couldn't control them. This led to situations where I'd say or do things that I didn't really mean, or I'd make decisions based on temporary emotional reactions rather than rational thought. What changed for me was when I started to pause and reflect when I felt emotional. I learned to identify the root cause of my feelings, whether they were stress, fear, or frustration. Once I recognized the emotion, I could address it before it influenced my actions. That's where it all began for me. The second component is self-regulation. Once you've developed self-awareness, the next step is to manage your emotions. Self-regulation means not allowing your emotions to control you. It's about maintaining composure, even in stressful or difficult situations, and acting with thoughtfulness rather than reacting impulsively. I remember a time when I was under a lot of pressure at work. I'd just been promoted, and I was dealing with a lot of expectations from my team and superiors. At the same time, my personal life was chaotic. It felt like everything was falling apart. One day, a colleague came to me with a problem that seemed insignificant in comparison to everything else I was dealing with. Normally, I would have snapped at them, but instead, I took a deep breath, paused, and chose my words carefully. I didn't let my stress get the best of me. I've learned that emotional regulation isn't just about controlling anger. It's about being able to stay calm in the face of any emotion. Motivation, in the context of emotional intelligence, is your ability to stay focused on long-term goals, even when faced with setbacks or emotional challenges. It's about being driven by passion and purpose rather than short-term rewards or emotional impulses. I've had many moments where my motivation was tested. There were days when I wanted to give up on my goals because things weren't going the way I wanted them to. But what kept me going was understanding that the emotional satisfaction I would get from achieving my goals would far outweigh any temporary discomfort. I had to develop the emotional resilience to push through the tough times. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's a crucial component of emotional intelligence because it allows you to connect with people on a deeper level. One experience that stands out to me was when a close friend of mine was going through a tough time, and I had no idea how to help. I was so focused on my own problems that I didn't take the time to understand what they were going through. But when I finally made the effort to sit down, listen, and truly empathize with them, it transformed our relationship. I wasn't just offering advice or solutions. I was there, fully present, and emotionally engaged. Social skills are the cornerstone of building and maintaining relationships. These skills allow you to navigate complex social interactions with confidence, whether you're in a professional setting or socializing with friends. It's more than just being able to hold a conversation. It's about understanding the dynamics of social interactions and being able to adapt to them in a way that fosters connection, cooperation, and mutual respect. When I was younger, social skills didn't come naturally to me. I remember feeling awkward at social gatherings, unsure of how to approach people or what to say to keep the conversation going. In professional settings, I struggled with navigating office politics, or worse, coming across as distant or uninterested in my colleagues' conversations. It wasn't until I started paying attention to the dynamics of human interaction that I realized how much of an impact social skills have on the relationships you build. One of the first things I learned about social skills is that effective communication is key. This might sound simple, but it goes beyond just being able to talk clearly. Communication involves both verbal and nonverbal cues. The way you speak, your tone, the words you choose, the volume of your voice can have a huge impact on how your message is received. Just as important is body language. The way you stand, your posture, the way you make eye contact. All of these subtle signals can either make people feel comfortable and engaged or uncomfortable and distant. Let me give you a real-life example. There was a time when I attended a networking event, and I remember standing in the corner feeling completely isolated. I had my arms crossed, avoiding eye contact with people, and looking down at my phone. I was technically at the event, but I wasn't engaging. A mentor of mine saw me and pulled me aside. He told me, "If you want to connect with people, you have to look like you want to connect." That simple advice changed the way I viewed social situations. I started to work on my body language, making eye contact, offering a firm handshake, and positioning myself in a way that invited interaction rather than closed it off. Effective communication also means being a good listener. When you listen actively, truly listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak, you're showing respect for the other person and demonstrating emotional intelligence. Active listening involves being present in the moment and not distracted by your thoughts, your phone, or the environment around you. It means giving the other person your full attention and responding thoughtfully to what they're saying. You don't need to solve their problems or offer advice right away. Sometimes just listening is enough. One thing I've learned over time is that people don't always remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel. When you listen with empathy, when you show a genuine interest in their experience, you create a bond that goes deeper than surface-level interaction. The more you practice active listening, the better you'll become at reading the emotional cues of others, and that's where your emotional intelligence really starts to grow. Conflict resolution is another critical aspect of social skills. It's inevitable that, over time, you'll face disagreements or challenges with others. How you handle conflict speaks volumes about your emotional intelligence and social skills. When handled poorly, conflict can destroy relationships. When handled with grace and understanding, it can actually strengthen them. In my earlier years, I was quick to argue or dismiss others when we disagreed. I wasn't really interested in resolving the issue. I just wanted to win the conversation. But as I became more aware of my emotional triggers, I started to approach conflict differently. Instead of reacting impulsively, I began to pause and listen to the other person's point of view. I also worked on staying calm and not letting my emotions take over. When you can control your emotions during conflict and stay focused on finding a solution, you gain respect and trust, and you show maturity and emotional intelligence. Another important aspect of social skills is the ability to adapt your communication style to different individuals. Not everyone communicates the same way. Some people are more direct and prefer to get straight to the point, while others may appreciate a more diplomatic approach. Understanding these differences and adjusting accordingly is crucial in developing strong relationships. One of the key components of this is being able to read people's body language and emotional state. Are they open and relaxed, or are they defensive and tense? Adjusting your tone, words, or approach based on these cues can help avoid misunderstandings and promote a more productive interaction. Building rapport is another essential social skill. Rapport is the sense of trust and mutual respect that forms between two people. The key to building rapport is finding common ground, whether it's shared interests, values, or goals. I remember when I first started networking, I was so focused on selling myself that I completely missed opportunities to connect with others. I would talk about my achievements, my goals, and my plans, but I wasn't taking the time to learn about the other person. Once I started asking questions and showing genuine interest in the other person's background and goals, the relationships I built became much stronger. People want to feel heard and valued, and the quickest way to build rapport is to make them feel comfortable and understood. The most overlooked yet vital social skill is the ability to give and receive feedback effectively. Feedback, when delivered in a constructive way, can be an incredibly powerful tool for growth, but many people struggle with this. On the giving side, the key is to be specific and supportive. Instead of just saying "that was great" or "that needs work," offer clear examples and actionable suggestions for improvement. On the receiving side, it's important not to take feedback personally. This was something I had to work on myself. Early on, I would get defensive when someone criticized me, but over time, I realized that feedback is a gift. It's an opportunity for growth and improvement. Finally, empathy plays a central role in social skills. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes and understanding their emotions, even if you don't agree with their perspective. Empathy strengthens your social connections because it helps you communicate more effectively, manage conflicts more gracefully, and build deeper trust with others. It makes your interactions more genuine and meaningful. Now, to be clear, social skills aren't something that come naturally to everyone, but they can be learned and developed over time. The more you practice them, the more comfortable and skilled you'll become in navigating social situations. Remember, emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey, and social skills are an essential part of that process. By improving your social skills, you not only become better at connecting with others, but you also create a space where you can practice and refine your emotional intelligence. It's all interconnected, and once you start to master these skills, you'll notice the positive impact they have on every aspect of your life, from your career to your personal relationships. Now let me tell you the #1 secret to developing emotional intelligence: vulnerability. It's so easy to think that being emotionally intelligent means always having control over your feelings, never showing weakness, or being perfect in every interaction. But that's not true. In fact, vulnerability is one of the most powerful tools you have for improving emotional intelligence. Vulnerability allows you to be real, to acknowledge your emotions without judgment, and to connect with others on a deeper level. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're not only showing strength, but you're also giving others permission to do the same. It creates an atmosphere of trust, openness, and honesty, which are the foundations of any strong connection. So, here's my challenge to you. Start practicing vulnerability today. Acknowledge when you're feeling something, talk about it with someone you trust, and be honest with yourself. It's not easy, but it's the #1 key to building stronger emotional intelligence and ultimately stronger connections. Before we wrap up, I want you to remember that developing emotional intelligence is a journey. It takes time, effort, and a willingness to grow. But with these tools, and by committing to the process, you can start making real changes in your life today. Now, if you're ready to take your growth even further, check out the links in the description below to enroll in the Titan Toolbox. We've got courses, ebooks, and other tools that will help you unlock your full potential and become the man you're meant to be. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss out on any of our latest videos. Your journey to becoming a true Titan starts now. Let's get to work.